Okay, now we're putting together the pop-up bridge. And this is a mini setting. It's smaller, but it makes a nice bridge, choke point for troops, a dangerous area for any sort of mechanical-based creature that might get their jets cooled in the water. So let's go ahead and put it together. The bridge. We've cut out all the pieces already, we've scored them all where they need to be scored, and we've already, if you don't know what that means, go back and watch some of the earlier videos, the start of them, to see what bending and scoring, what sort of cutting and scoring instructions there are, or read the instructions. And then what we're going to do is find B1 and B2, and we're going to glue those into place. So that's this nice big piece here. And that should be folded here, here, and down the middle. So that B1 and B2, fold the other way down the middle, are glued here and here on the base. It's pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward glue. Match it up with the ground texture. And that's it can be a little tricky. Just another good thing is that a lot of times where the walls need to be glued down, there's a line on the back of that spot. If you just line it up with the wall, back to back, it's fine. Or look at the ground textures underneath. If there's ever a spot where you're seeing double of the texture, then that's where you need to move it over a little bit. Kind of looks like a bad Photoshop stamp tool usage or something. Which we did not use on this project. No stamp tool. Alright. So now we've glued that in place. Next we glue pieces B3 through B10. And what that is all these pieces on the back. So B3 and B4 come from this central bridge part. It really does a lot of the work in pulling the bridge up and making sure that it looks like a bridge. So, and that piece is folded down on the sides, up in the middle. So you can see very clearly where that should match up on the side here. Just that it will go, and the arch. You can see that arch. That'll match up on the bottom part. So basically just match up the arch and make sure it covers the other parts and glue it on. Let that dry for a little bit before you start bending it around. It's very important that that piece stays where it is. Très importante, as they say in some language. Possibly not Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. Alright, next, B8. Basically all of these pieces are stair steps. You can go ahead and bend them all down so that the numbers are on the outside. If your numbers are on the inside, you might end up gluing in everything upside down if you're not paying attention to the way the arrows are going, and it will not look like a stepped bridge. It will just look like bridge in the middle, which would be dumb, so don't do it. Alright. So these ones are pretty simple to glue on. You just line them up with their spots and glue them in where they go. Will they line up with the textures exactly? This is another case of having to line up based on the texture printed on the back. And so they might, but it's more likely that you just want to line them up with the spot where they go. And really, it's going to be very difficult for anyone to see whether or not the textures line up as they're gluing them on even. So just get them in there, make sure they look like steps, and you will be happy. Forever. Especially if you didn't bend them in a weird spot. Okay, I just did. Alright. These short steps are kind of tricky to glue in too, but you should be able to get them in there and just let them hang out for a bit, and they'll stay on. You can see I kind of accidentally bent my short steps too tall. It's okay to go back and rebend something. It's paper. It's meant to be bent. It may not be true. I don't know if paper's meant to be bent. I suppose if you look at it from the context that most paper is intended to be printed in books, then that paper is usually bent down the middle to create the folios and then sewn. So I'm going to go ahead and say most paper is meant to be bent. Unless somebody can show me a statistic that says that most paper that's produced is not intended to be bound in any form. Alright, so once you've gotten all those in place, it's time for the tricky part. This part is actually probably really tricky. So, B3 through 10, done. B11 and 12, okay? That's these pieces that glue this part down. And realistically, you're going to be doing a lot of gluing at once, okay? You're going to be gluing these parts down and all of these parts. And the way you're going to get it right is by gluing these parts down first, actually, and not gluing the other parts yet. And that will, I mean, you'll have to get your glue in there the right way. But for now, glue those in so that the lines come to the edge there. You're going to have a hard time seeing if your ground textures line up, but there, you can see where the end of that sort of shaded section is and where the grass starts. There's a line there. Just glue it right to that line and let it sit. Count to 10, count to 20, whatever you need to do, whatever you usually do when you're cooling off your rage. Just count to that number. For me, it's actually pretty low, 5 or something. Doesn't take me long to cool down rage-wise. Alright. I don't think I'd make a very good berserker. I'd get maybe like 2 hits in and then I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Done being angry. Okay, so that's dried long enough. I'm going to put a little glue on all this stuff. And then what you want to do is fold it flat. Keep an eye on all these. Keep them down. Keep pushing them down. They're going to try to pop up. It is a pop-up book after all, but they don't know they're popping up wrong. So keep pushing them into place as you fold, and then fold the whole thing flat. Now that'll make sure that all of those pieces are in the right place. You don't want to hold this too long though. 5 seconds. Mike Evans rage timer, go. Or 5, okay? And then you want to pull it back up, take a look at it and see what's sticking. And the steps will probably stick. This part right here may not be sticking just yet. Go in there and hold it on the best you can. You can reach under the bridge a little bit and hold it on there, pinch it together. You can fold the whole thing flat again. Give it another 5-second timer. give it some pressure. Give it a chance to form those, you know, chemical bonds that glue forms with paper. And you'll have made your bridge. Now the bridge is a good one to flex a little bit when you're popping it up. And it'll stay flat so you can have your river, a lot of extra river parts. You can have your river running right under the bridge. Troops will have to cross that in order to get past, and you can, you know, set your archers on the bank, give them a little cover, suppressive fire or something. And let's see how it fits together with the other MIDI settings. Thematically, the other MIDI settings fit together a little better, because they're shops. Fish Shack, Magic and Potion shops. Together can form one hex. Here's the other one. Alright. So those are the 4 mini settings all together. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy your bridge.